Mark Twain, a la Shmoop. If you really want to know about Mark Twain, I figure I'm the best one to tell you. I warrant me and Tom Sawyer, we're probably the finest things he ever done thunk up anyways. And Tom said he had better things to do than to sit around all day talking about Mr. Twain. Though I reckon if it was between this and the Aunt Sally trying to learn me about Moses, Noah, and all those other dead people, I may as well do this. I don't take no stock in dead people, except in Mr. Twain there anyways. The first thing you need to know about Mr. Twain is he's a darn liar. His name ain't Mark Twain at all. He was actually named Samuel Langhorne Clemons. He only started calling himself Mark Twain because that's what steamboat pilots would holler out when the river was safe to navigate. Seems silly to me, but I suppose I'm called Huckleberry, so I ain't got no room to talk. Anyway, Mr. Twain was born on November 30th, 1835 in Florida, Missouri, but him and his family moved to Hannibal, Missouri right about 3 years after. Hannibal's right there on the Mississippi River, so Mr. Twain would see all sorts of steamboats coming and a-going. Reckon you could say it's there that Mr. Twain first fell in love with the mighty Mississippi. When he was 22, he decided to make a living on the river, and I reckon he heard so many good yarns from traveling folk that he stayed put till the Civil War put him out of a job. Mr. Twain up and lit out for the West, settling first in Nevada, then in San Francisco. All that moving around gave him an idea for a story, Jim Smiley and his Jumpin' Frog, and it proved to be a mighty success. Matter of fact, some folks started believing that Mr. Twain was a first-rate storyteller and that he was defining the American sense of humor, whatever that means. I ain't gonna disagree with the storyteller part, though. He did a right good job telling about me and Tom. Sure, there were things that he stretched, but mainly he told the truth. Anyway, writing success ain't the only thing that came out of Mr. Twain's travels. On one of his wanderings, he saw a photograph of Miss Olivia Livy Langdon and got a powerful need to meet her. Well, he did. They took a mighty liking to each other. By 1870, they'd run off and got married, which I reckon is sweet if you care for that sort of thing anyways. Now that I'd done and got all that romantical stuff out of the way, I reckon Mr. Twain was just as popular in his day as he is now on account of his books and lectures. And after he went and wrote his first book in 1869, The Innocents Abroad, people started talking. See, folks thought Mr. Twain was right funny, and that made him something of a celebrity. And in 1876, he wrote a book about my friend Tom called The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. Suppose it was a warm-up for the real interesting story to come. Anyway, Tom was meant to be like Mr. Twain, and all the adventures we got up to was meant to be like his childhood. And turns out people liked reading about our adventures. Reading about an idyllic American town tickled folks' fancies and made Mr. Twain even more famous. Widow Douglas learned me the word idyllic, by the way, and I warn't be sorry for it since I gone and used it now. The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, which Mr. Twain wrote in 1885, was a mighty big success. Folks were real impressed by the way Mr. Twain done and tackled big issues like racism and bigotry, which pretty near means not getting along with folks who are different from us. Or so the Widow Douglas said. I reckon I don't see what the fuss was. Jem and me were just two fellas drifting down that river. Ain't nothing much more than that. And the best part is Mr. Twain weren't the type to sermonize, so the adventures of, well, me argued for equality without any preaching, no sir. Folks started calling it the Great American Novel, and I won't lie, that made me feel right happy, light as a feather right off. And while folks still have some trouble with Mr. Twain using the N-word, I recognize he'd done it so often to show folks how powerful bad a word it was. Kind of like holding a looking glass up to someone who's always frowning something horrible and showing them how right miserable ugly they look. Well, Aunt Sally says that ain't a nice comparison, but I won't be sorry for it. I reckon you're thinking Mr. Twain had a right easy life, but that ain't the case. Mr. Twain had some hardships with money. I hadn't got a lot of it, but Mr. Twain, I reckon he had less. He made some business investments that I warrant were as bad as a body could make, and because of it ended up owing folks. But Mr. Twain was a right good time. When his 24-year-old daughter Susie died of meningitis, Mr. Twain was real close with her, so I ain't gonna try and imagine how hard that was, especially seeing as he had already lost his 2-year-old boy Langdon back in 1872. Well, in 1904, Mr. Twain's lovely wife Livy died, and I still ain't going to imagine it, because I don't think I can stand it. And if things weren't hard enough, Mr. Twain's 19-year-old daughter Jean died in 1909 after having a seizure. On account of the fact I'm writing this, I ain't gonna allow no such miserable doings going no further. Even though all that loss made Mr. Twain a powerful, lonely man, he did his best to keep cheerful and still made public appearances now and again. But on April 9th, 1910, Mr. Twain died of a heart failure. I reckon I can't say nothing for sure, but I've come to think that maybe it was a broken heart. I reckon Mr. Twain wouldn't like it much if I ended on such sad stuff, so before I go and end this, I got something to say. A body don't meet many men who knowed America as well as Mr. Twain did. He knowed what made folks laugh, and he knowed how to tackle problems without sermonizing, which I'm grateful for. I ain't one for sermonizing. But what Mr. Twain did best was tell stories, and I reckon that's how folks will remember him, and that does a body good. Suppose there ain't nothing more to write, and I'm rotten glad of it. If I'd have knowed what a trouble this'd be, I wouldn't have tackled it. Tom always did get out of things mighty easy. Where's that whitewash?